Okay, so I'm going to be watching Brad react to Ashikai's theory about that there's no such thing as time travel. So if you do it your best to like and subscribe. And also, if you want to like their videos, make sure you go to the description. Both the videos should be linked in the description. If I remember. If I remember, which I should because I've done it for every single one. But yeah, so I'm very interested to see this because I mean I wasn't gonna watch Ashikai's video, but since it's like Brad, I don't watch Ashikai theories anymore unless Brand Online reacts to them, and then I watch Brand's video. And if you're wondering why, it's one, I think I have massive ADHD and I can't watch a video without someone else reacting to it. But also two, if you're wondering why I don't like watching theories, I'll give you a quick brief down. For me, I know it's weird, but it's weird. You can call me weird for this, but to me, it feels like I'm spoiling the game for myself, even though I'm not, because it's a theory. It feels like when I'm watching it, when they start to predict stuff and try like see what happens, what's gonna happen. It feels like subconsciously that it's spoiling the game, and I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't know why. I. It's a weird thing in my head. It's like if this actually happens, I feel like it's gonna take away from it. But that might just be me. But I don't know. Since Brandon Lance reacted to it, we'll watch it. But yeah, that's just me though. This is a long one though. So.
Okay. Ashikai lore time. There's no such thing as time travel. A Genshin Impact
All right.
theory. 36 minutes
Let's
of
go.
pure unadulterated brain rot lore. Let's go.
I admit I was a bit confused by the space and time for you quest. Not by the events themselves or the lore.
Oh yeah, I was quite confused as well, but I will be honest, if you want to understand like the timelines of what happened, please make sure you check out Cat with Blue Hat's video. Please. When I watched it, my reaction is on my extras channel if you want to go check that out. But when you watch it, everything makes sense. The timeline makes complete sense after you watch it. So make sure you check out that video. Or maybe Ashikai goes through the timeline in this one. I'm not sure, but yeah.
They presented, but solely because this quest has some kind of time travel in it.
Yeah, it has some weird time shenanigans, that's for
with
sure.
the keys.
And yes, I know that Genshin has its own god of time and all that, so I shouldn't be confused by timey-wimey shenanigans going on.
I hope she's seen the latest teaser as well. That'd be kind of cool.
On here, but her existence does not necessitate the need for time travel.
True.
And to add an extra layer of weirdness to it, Hoyoverse doesn't even like time travel. Like, at all. It doesn't matter if you look at Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact 3rd, or Honkai Star Rail, you will not find examples of true time travel. Experiencing time loops within a dreamscape? Sure.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Resetting the simulation of a computer world?
Well, I mean, technically you went to the future with a post-Honkai Odyssey, because that technically hasn't happened yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Attempting to go back in time to change the past only to end up jumping into another timeline entirely? Absolutely. You can have all these time-bendy shenanigans and more, but you will not find true time travel.
Maybe they're experimenting with it now. Although, to be fair, time paradox and time travel is two kind of... I'm a little yap, actually.
And that's what makes the Space and Time for You quest feel so out of place to me. Plus, the time travel in this quest comes with a bootstrap paradox, which is horrible, solely because I hate paradoxes. They fill me with the urge to become a physicist so I can...
I have not pre-watched, by the way. This literally got uploaded as we were streaming 41 minutes ago.
And dedicate my thesis to destroying their very existence. But I am no physicist. I'm a theorist. So the best I can do is look at the facts and determine the reason why Hoyoverse has suddenly decided to overcome their allergy to time travel. And that means explaining why
I feel like it might even tie into Honkai Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Maybe. Because, I mean, I feel like there are still, obviously, I feel like a part of the same universe in some capacity, so...
Actually has no time travel in it. But before we start this trip, I do think we have...
Do y'all think, before this theory, do y'all think this game has, this quest had time travel in it? Because I feel like it...
I think it did too. I feel like it kind of did. Like, seeing the Lamine of the past, I feel like Lamine's kind of... I don't know. I don't think it's time traveling. It's like, okay, you could call it time travel. Like, I think a big quotation marks. It's like time, maybe something to do with time, but not time travel.
I feel like it kind of had to have.
It wasn't time travel. It was merging two different times into one, like merging the 1980s with 2020, merging them together and them overlapping with each other. It's kind of like that, not going back or forward in time, I think.
itinerary to make some time to talk about the sponsor for today's video, the Red Magic
Tablet.
This flowchart essentially breaks down the rough timeline of events, starting with the twins' arrival and ending with the choice at the end of the Space and Time for You quest.
Okay.
You can pause the video if you want to look at the chart more closely, but for the sake of time,
I
I'm
reckon the tablet has
just going
views.
to
I
be
feel
following the
good.
paths that the keys take throughout this whole mess.
Oh,
Because there
God.
should only be two
Wait.
for the chart.
Oh yeah, 3 keys, 2 keys. Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah.
And now there's 3, baby. An extra one was brought into the timeline.
One for each twin, and yet we ended up with 3 keys. And that third key is odd because technically we get it from Deirdrith, who gets it from us, who then gives it to us again, and then we give it back to her in this seemingly endless loop. For this reason, the third key has no point of origin and is
It's not time travel if the past, present, and future are happening at the same time. Wait, why not? If you go from the future to the past, even if they're all happening at the same time, how would that still not be time travel?
therefore classified
I think because you experience them at the same time. Like you're experiencing the past, present, and future at the same time. And you're not going between each of them, I think.
as a bootstrap paradox.
That's
It's a
what we're
key
experiencing
that
now.
was
We're experiencing the present and the past at the exact same time.
never created yet
Right.
somehow exists.
True.
So if we want to understand all this time travel
It's not travel. I mean, you're still traveling from the future to the past, even if they're still coexisting, no?
stuff, we have to understand where the third key came
I think it's where you're living in it.
from. So when the
I don't
twins
know.
first arrive, we know that there are only 2 keys. Like I said, there's key A for the traveler and key B for the twin. Key
Fair.
B is in Conria with the twin, while key A is in an undisclosed location with the still sleeping traveler. When the cataclysm hits, Deirdrith somehow appears with a third key, key C, which then prompts the twin to go find the traveler who still has key A. The twins
Oh
try
my
to
God.
flee this world together, but they get separated by the sustainer of heavenly principles. So the twin gets sent back to the cataclysm along with key B, while Deirdrith allegedly holds on to key C for 500 years as a hilichurl. The traveler holds on to key A until they find hilichurl Deirdrith with key C in Matlan. At this point, the traveler has both key A and C in their possession until their twin arrives with key B. Now, all 3 keys are in the same location. And here's where the real problem starts. At the end of the quest, you can choose whether or not to keep key C or to give it to Deirdrith.
But it doesn't matter.
This is
It doesn't matter, does it?
where the problem starts. Okay.
Choose to give her key C, she takes it and, in theory, travels back in time to show it to the twin. But if you decide to keep key C, it will stay in your inventory, meaning
Yeah, I gave it, by the way. I don't know what y'all did. Let me know in the YouTube comments if this becomes...
Yeah, I gave it.
What you did. I ate
I gave it.
a minute ago, and it crushed up into powder, and instead of swallowing it, I inhaled it, and
the
Oh,
traveler will
God.
possess both key A and key C. At
Hey,
the end.
it'll go to your bloodstream quicker by absorbing it through. Oh, that's not how it works. I'm joking.
swallowing it, I inhaled it, and
The traveler will possess both key A and key C at the end of the quest. However, keeping the key means Deirdrith never shows it to the twin, which is an event that must happen, so the twin gives Deirdrith a key. But since in this
Okay.
route, the traveler still has keys A and C, the twin must have given Deirdrith their own key, so key B. And that means, depending
I'm so confused. I
This
usually
is
react
too
so
much.
Doing these reactions, but I'm really trying to take in all the information before I give my thoughts on it. And this
So,
is a lot of info
why do I
to
feel
take
like-
in.
on your choice, the key Deirdrith shows the twin 500 years in the past can either be the twin's own key, key B, which sort of loops back on itself, so it sort of is in 2 places at the same time
Yeah.
during the cataclysm and
I see
also
that, yeah.
at the end of the quest, but otherwise appears to have just made a single loop through time. But if you choose to give Deirdrith the key,
It's just a complete time loop. Over, it's the same. It's
then Deirdrith gets key C, which she got from you. But you got it from her, but she got it from
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna fucking throw up.
you, and that's how you end up with the bootstrap paradox, because this key, the third key, key C, has no point of origin. So either we have a key that loops back on itself in time, or we have a key that manifests from nowhere. Given
Okay, it kind of has to be the other one, right? It can't just manifest out of nowhere. I don't think that'd be a possibility even. I feel like somebody has to have placed it somewhere. At
Or
some
there's a 4th key, and we don't know. Or there's a 3rd twin.
point in space or
There's a
time.
triplet
And
somewhere.
who did we see other than the shade of space?
that both choices are possible, we have to assume that
Wait,
She
what if
was
it's
there.
Space travel, not time travel. And then as Asmongold, as Asmodeus did have something to do with it.
I think I'm just gonna call it Asmongold as well. Jesus Christ, it's funny.
Space travel, not time travel. And then as Asmongold, As Asmodeus did have something to do with it.
Both choices are canon, or at least can be canon. And therein lies my problem, because rationalizing a time loop is simple enough. After all, it's not too dissimilar to what happened with the Sacred Sakura. And there are technically like 3 potential ways to
And that was to do with Easteroth, so was that not considered time travel?
resolve a
Was that
bootstrap
also
paradox,
space travel?
but finding a solution that can resolve both at the same time? Aside from going, I don't know, it's magic, don't think about it too hard. There's really no way to resolve this in like a clean, elegant,
Asmodeus. Why did I say Asmodeus? Asmodeus.
pseudo-physics way. You know what I mean? And before you argue that there doesn't need to be a good explanation as to why both these things can be canon, because we have a god of time, and the god of time is just going to do whatever she wants with time, and it doesn't really matter in the end.
We don't even know if she can do what she wants with time, and it does really matter in the end because of that fact.
That is not how Hoyo operates.
True.
They don't just hand wave away an explanation with, it's just magic, bro. They are the nerdiest of nerds. If they're gonna do magic time travel, they're gonna give it a proper explanation. That's
100%.
just how they work. But this all got me thinking. If it really is impossible to solve the time loop paradox conundrum through the lens of time travel and pseudo-physics,
Then what kind of travel
this
is it?
isn't actually a time loop paradox type deal at all. In fact, maybe there's no time traveling happening at all. Just
I do think the fact that Asmodeus showed up at the very end of the quest could be a big point to prove that this might not be time travel, it might be space travel. And then your point earlier, chat, where you were saying it can't be time travel if the past, future, and present exist at the same time. I guess you would then call that space travel, right? Because you're traveling to a different space in time, but not a different time in general, I guess, if all are coexisting. Is that what you meant? That's very big brain. And I don't know if the definition of time travel or space travel would fit that narrative, but if it would,
You know what?
I would say it was it because like
retirement
you're coexisting in them at the same time, but
that's fucking awesome, dude.
the illusion
Let's take a
of
look.
time travel. I mean, that would certainly be on brand for Hoyoverse. As I alluded to in the intro, they do this kind of thing a lot. And once I started to think about the problem from
The quest is also called A Space and Time for You. True. Fuck, dude.
That
oh
is
my
true.
God.
that perspective, things started to click into place.
Uh-huh.
Time moves a little bit differently into that than it does in the Abyss. That much is indisputable, but the actual time difference varies quite a bit. Child spent 3 months in the Abyss while only 3 days passed into that, but historical records indicate that Takamine the Mistsplitter ventured into the Abyss and stayed there for years, only
Okay.
for a similar amount of years to pass into that as well, although we don't
General physics left the game. Bro, have you seen the fucking jiggle physics in this game? General physics left a long time ago, man.
really know the exact number. We'll talk a little bit more about what might be
Body armor jiggles. Come on.
going on here later.
that is
but
true.
given Kaguya was
Yeah, I'll never get that one. I'll never get a Yaka.
located either in or bordering on the Abyss, I think it's safe to assume that time in Conria behaves the same way as time in the Abyss does, which is different from time in Teyvat. I think traveling through 2 different times would be rather tricky, but not impossible. To complicate matters further,
Oh, so you're saying the time in the so time in Kandria is the exact same as time when we went with like Child when he fell into the abyss. So if Kandria existed for 500, let's say Kandria existed, but how long did Kandria like exist for? Let's just say 100 years. That probably basically existed to them for like 50. So, oh, Jesus Christ. So then they're going slower through time. So that means they're going, slower through time. Which would mean that anyone from there, from 100 years ago, would only be... Oh, I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
the Abyss is said to be made up of isolated spaces. So not only do we have
Yes.
different behaviors in time, we also have different locations in
We can see them
space.
from the
And
past,
I think that would
kinda.
make traveling through time really difficult, if not
The Abyss is made up of isolated spaces. That hits real fucking different now that we know Asmodeus cubes are literally different worlds and different spaces. Could it be that the Abyss existing in different spaces, like
have different locations in space. And I think that would make
Like
travel
bubble
to complicate matters further, the
universes?
Abyss is said to be made up of isolated spaces.
if the Abyss is made up of isolated spaces,
Yeah.
could it either be its own either bubble universe or just the general area beyond the firmament, beyond the fake sky? Could that be the Abyss? Is that even a possibility? The Abyss could just be everything beyond the sky. Holy shit, bro.
So not only do we have different behaviors in time, we also have different locations in space. And I think that would make traveling through time really difficult, if not impossible. Because you wouldn't just be traveling through one dimension, the dimension of time, you'd be traveling through two dimensions, the dimensions of space and time.
A space and time for you. Ashikai's cooking, bro. Ashikai's cooking.
And to make matters even more complicated, we now know that Tavad is a proper planet that kind of got bubbled within a firmament that cut off all contact with the rest of the universe.
Would make sense that that's the
this
abyss.
Isolation that lets Tavad have its own laws. These laws are likely issued by the entity that we know of as the Heavenly Principles, because in Chinese, the Heavenly Principles literally refers to the laws of heaven that govern the behavior of both humanity and the physical laws of nature. Time should be defined under one of those laws, seeing as it is a force of nature. And a
Istaroth is a shade of.
a related law
Heavenly
would be the law of fate, because fate is a factor of time. See, the existence of the law of fate suggests that time itself is predetermined. The end of everyone's story has already been decided.
Where is this footage from? I'm noticing pixelation around the... Is this from mobile?
And the average person is powerless.
That's
to
what
go
I
against
was
their
thinking that the whole
destinies.
entire
In
time.
religious circles, fate
But it's pixelated from like older quests as well, so I don't know. And Ashikai's already had good quality, so I'm not entirely sure.
is a rather contentious topic because in some religions, like
Xbox.
Christianity, free will is a fundamental right of a person that is given to humanity by God so that humans may freely choose the path of salvation. That's kind of the whole point. And if fate exists, then free will is nothing but an illusion, and that goes against their religious doctrine. So that's just not gonna work. But the reason why this fate versus free will debate was even a thing was because prior to Christianity's rise, many schools of thought, like ancient Greek Stoicism, believed in a concept that Nietzsche
Gnosticism is-
dubbed
maybe
the
not
eternal
Gnosticism.
recurrence or the eternal return. And this claimed that the universe existed within a loop. Whenever
Oh, interesting.
time reached its
Did you all see, by the way, that NASA discovered that at the edge of our universe? No, was it at the edge of our solar system? There is a wall.
You talking about like the asteroid belt at the edge?
Of pure heat. Solar system. There is a.
Oh. Interesting. How would that even work? Yeah, obviously roll in quotation marks. How would that even work?
Of pure heat, apparently. Bro, we have a fake sky. I'm putting the fucking tinfoil on, bro. I think we have a fake sky. It's fucking.
Bro,
insane.
Hoyoverse knew
Check it out.
before NASA,
Google
bro.
this shit, bro. It's real.
end, the universe
Hoyoverse
would be
knew before NASA. That's great.
destroyed and then reborn exactly as it was in the beginning. This is pretty similar to like watching a movie, reaching the end, and then rewinding the movie so that you can watch it all over again.
It's an asteroid wall. Hey, get this non-believer out of here, bro.
In this scenario, fate is a thing.
I mean, there is an asteroid wall. There's like but I think this is something different than that.
Because time is cyclical. Fate is
It's not a
merely
wall,
a
though, it's a
declaration that
belt.
the events of one loop are the events of another loop. Now, the oldest non-draconic civilization in Tibet is based on ancient Greece, and
Yeah, the Sun Children.
conveniently, Nietzsche's works are referenced all over the place, especially in the desert. And this kind of matters because Nietzsche was the one who really revived the Grecians' concept of the eternal return and gave it its new
And nihilism. Nihilism. What is nihilism again? Nihil or nihil is typically like evil, right? Am I insane? Nothing in life matters. Oh, what the fuck based?
Damn.
So I personally think that this
Oh.
debate between fate, free will, and the nature of time is quite relevant to Genshin and to
Okay.
our whole time travel debacle. Now, Conria existed outside of the boundaries of the Heavenly Principles and therefore did not have to bend to the rules of fate. So Conria and the Abyss must have free will and are thus experiencing linear time. Conversely, since
that makes
Tibet
sense.
has fate, its time must be cyclical. And that means that we're likely working
Well, I mean, we kind of already knew that Genshin's world was going to be a cyclical world. Or, I guess we didn't know it, but it's been hinted at from the very beginning. Even in, I don't know if it was the Exile set, but in one of the very early artifact sets, it literally talks about the game being cyclical, basically. And it's like, one of the biggest theories going on that has been happening since the beginning of the game is that Mondstadt, since it hasn't actually had like a full-on Archon Quest edition, it's only had a prologue. Like Mondstadt was the prologue
True,
for the game.
true.
The Our Conquest for Mondstadt is going to be the very last one. Like we're gonna finish the game where it started in Mondstadt. I fully believe that. I fully believe that we will finish the game in Mondstadt.
Working with a space-time structure that looks something like this. This bottom area represents the outside world, which includes the greater universe, the Abyss, and Conria, all of which are experiencing near infinite linear time with no event repeating itself. Sitting on top of this linear time is the bubble of Tevat. It's circular, cyclical, and stuck in an endless loop. Now I have to make.
Oh, that's what they meant by cyclical. Okay. Oh, I didn't know what they meant by it's loops. Okay, that makes sense.
And that there must be some points in space-time where Tevat and Conria overlap, and one of those points is right here. The moment Deirdre shows the hibernation chamber key to the twin in Conria. If these 2 points in space-time overlap for a moment, then there's really no time travel.
Thing is, where would Conria be? I guess Conria would be here now, right? That's why. But it only started happening because Yeah, so oh my god. Yeah, so Kanya's timeline has just entered this stage. And then we're gonna be that means eventually when we get that means when we get to the Kanya chapter, we're going to be seeing the future of Khaenri'ah while we're still going through the loop. And Khaenri'ah is going to be in the future, according to Tevat. But to Khaenri'ah, it's going to be the present for them.
If these 2 points in space-time overlap for a moment, then there's really no time travel happening here at all.
Oh my god, this is such a good point. She's right, dude. She's right. It is literally two spaces kind of converging rather than going back or forward in time.
Because Deirdre has never left her current space-time. And as we saw in the Space and Time for You quest with Natlan and New Conria, two worlds with overlapping spacetimes can interact with each other for as long as they continue to overlap.
Yeah.
This also suggests that during the Cataclysm 500 years ago in Tevat time, the spacetimes of Conria and Tevat overlapped in multiple places, which is how the horrors of the Abyss flooded Tevat from underground. And I'm pretty.
Wait, so that means for Tevat, the Cataclysm is only happening right now. But to the Khaenri'ahs, it happened 500 years ago. But if the Cataclysm technically is only happening now to Tevat, how does everyone know about it? I know we learned about it from.
Confident that this is the case because at this point.
Where did we first learn about the Cataclysm? I don't remember. Was it from the Mean or Dainsleaf? Or was it just from something random into that? I don't know.
There should be two travelers from underground. And I'm pretty confident that this is the case because at this point there should be flooded Tevat and Tevat. Suggests that during the Cataclysm 500 years ago in Tevat time, the spacetimes of Khaenri'ah and Tevat overlapped in multiple places, which is how the horrors of the Abyss flooded Tevat from underground. And I'm pretty confident that this is the case because at this point there should be two travelers, two Abyss twins, and two Deirdreths. In Khaenri'ah, the Abyss twin is preparing to face Doomsday while the traveler is still asleep in their hibernation chamber.
This is such an insane diagram.
And the original Deirdreth is somewhere in Khaenri'ah being chased by rift hounds. Meanwhile, the traveler in Tevat is awake and looking for their sibling, and the Abyss Twin is making a backup copy of Old Khaenri'ah while Deirdre has manifested from that backup and met the Woken Traveler. New Khaenri'ah's Deirdre is the one who meets the traveler
she is from the backup.
gets the key. So
bro, this might be one of the biggest brain theories Ashikai has done. Ashikai has made a lot of theories in the past that have...
I didn't know if at this point, like at that point when I was talking about, I didn't know if Deirdre was from the copy of it or from just the Khaenri'ah's timeline just converging and technically the Cataclysm only happening now. But then why is the Cataclysm happening in the copy? Unless that's all the memories that unless that's only what the memories of the Khaenri'ahs can think of. Because if Deirdre is from the copy, why is the Cataclysm happening? Why wouldn't it be everything that would be nice? Which doesn't make sense to me. The only thing, either one is from that Deirdre is from the previous Khaenri'ah, and that timeline is only crossing with us now, and then that's how she's here. Or two, the only memories Lemine can get is of the Cataclysm. So I don't think that's the
come
one.
to fruition, and some that have not. Don't get me wrong.
Maybe I'm
Beverly
missing
used to be
something
the prime
completely.
example, but she was also very open that was a crackpot theory, right? This seems like it holds a lot of ground. This seems like this is.
But there's
rooted
still
in
so much, like things that could change as well. I feel like definitely the things I'm discussing.
lot of factual evidence that we received in the quest, albeit it is still a theory. It's not 100% confirmed
Obviously,
or anything,
yeah,
but there
yeah,
is a lot of information going on right now that actually adds up and feels like it kind of fills in the blanks from the quest as well. I am curious where she goes with this, though, because with it being a space and time for you, and also, even if Asmodee did create the space, or at least allow it so that the spaces could cross over so that they could meet, I do still think time would have had something to do with it, right? But even if Asmodee... I'm curious where she goes with this, though, because with it being a space and time for you, and also, even if Asmodee did create the space, or at least allow it so that the spaces could cross over so that they could meet, I do still think time would have had something to do with it, right? But to what extent?
So it's New Conria data
Yeah.
that meets the Abyss Twin during the Cataclysm in Conria because their spacetimes just so happen to overlap.
Yeah, they line
Kaya
up.
and Arlecchino are a bit like Deirdre in that they're not really supposed to be into that. Arlecchino's bloodline was supposed to have died out, and Kaya should have been cursed with the rest of the Eclipse dynasty. But
Fair.
if we assume that
But-
either of them were in a place where two adjacent spacetimes overlapped, then maybe they just got stuck on the wrong side.
Do y'all think... Listen, I had a thought the other day, bro. Yesterday it was. I had a thought. There's a reason Kaya wears this fucking eye patch, and I don't think it's because he got it necessarily from his grandfather, or it might have been, but maybe not for...
I
just
did hear from I want to prove Brandon Live react to someone else's video. It was like he got it from fighting with D Luke back when Delik's father died. I don't know. Or yeah, it could just be. It could be like Candace. He has an eye. He has a different eye, and he can see. Whoa! I just thought of something fucking insane. Wait. Listen. What if this eye allows him to see Tavat? What if it's like the Traveler in Diridith, where this eye allows him to see like Tavat, but this eye allows him to see Khaenri'ah, and during like the Cataclysm, like that other so this eye allows him to see Khaenri'ah, and the reason why he covers it up is because he wants to forget about Khaenri'ah, or he just doesn't want to see Khaenri'ah in the cataclysmic state. Boom, and this eye's like red, and like, oh my god. That would be insane. Like, he covers it up because that eye allows him to see Khaenri'ah. And gotta be honest, his earring kind of looks like the key that the travelers have. But that, I don't know why that just popped in my head, and that was insane. That would be crazy if he can see Khaenri'ah with his other eye. That, oh my god, that'd be sick, bro. That would actually be so fucking
got
cool.
it necessarily from his grandfather,
Oh, yeah.
or it might have been, but maybe not
Only a
for
quarter way through,
just
isn't
a
it?
inherentance kind of thing. Who is Kaya's
I
grandfather?
can't believe I thought
What
about
if
that.
it
That's
was
so
someone,
cool. That'd be so cool if that actually
insane-
happened.
Bro, this is such a crackpot theory. It holds no ground. There is no weight to this at all, but I just love to believe stupid shit, or like to think stupid shit. We have seen that gold eating Niberius' heart kind of made them both like go into one, right? Imagine
Yeah,
if like
two different
Kaya
eyes.
fucking munched on some weird shit, bro, and it has like a different colored eye. It's just interesting. It's just interesting.
The thing is,
Okay, I mean, his reason for a different color eye was different from mine. Okay, I did not pre-watch this. As you can tell, how excited I was for thinking about that. But I feel like his reasons will be different.
And it has like a different colored eye. It's just
Mine was
interesting.
because the other eye allows him to see Khaenri'ah. His reason is because he devoured someone. Which who could he have devoured, huh?
It's just interesting.
the thing is,
I don't think it's. A
And
thing.
that's why the star in the eye that he shows is smaller. Fuck. I can't, bro. I can't. My brain's gonna explode from my own fucking thoughts.
I was thinking about it, and I
Holy
was
shit.
like, "Ooh, interesting." Like Venifolia, there was something about Venifolia that I fucking read yesterday, bro, and it was absolutely insane. It was about Piero being Venifolia. I read it on Twitter, and things started to add up. I told you all about it, but there was something about that, and then they were saying like, "What if Kaya is Piero's like granite? Piero being fucking Redius?" I was thinking about it, and I was like, "Ooh, interesting." Like Venifolia is there was.
But I swear, I heard that name. I need to see. I'm a person that I need to see. Genshin, Venom. Oh. Oh, the crystal. Okay, yeah. The crystal. All right, that makes sense. I remember. I could think of the name. I didn't think of what it was. All right, that makes
I
sense.
don't think it's a thing, but I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, interesting. Like Vetifolia, there was something about Vetifolia that I fucking read yesterday, bro, and it was absolutely insane. It was about Piero being Vetifolia. I read it on Twitter, and things started to add up. I told you all about it, but there was something about that, and then they were saying, like, what if Kaya is Piero's, like, grandson or son or relative? And everything just went up in the air, bro. I was like, this is far too much for my fucking small-ass brain, and then I went to bed at, like, 12:30 p.m., which is a new record for me.
Since space-time's overlapped, then maybe they just got stuck on the wrong side. The thing is, there's two parts to space-time. There is time, which is Istaroth's domain, but there's also space, which is Asmodee's domain. So rather than sit here and tear our hair out over the complexities of time travel, what we should really be doing is looking at the possibility of
goddamn, she's thick.
Space-time travel. Heavy emphasis on the space part. Now, what Shade showed
And the thing is, also, Asmodeus didn't turn up to the latest meeting as well. Which they think it's because she switched sides, which would be interesting. And maybe this is why some things... I don't know, maybe this is why... I fucking don't even know.
During the Space and Time
yeah,
for You quest?
interesting.
That's right, Asmodee did, the god of space.
Hold up.
Thick.
Space-time travel. Heavy emphasis on the space part. Now, what Shade showed up during the Space and Time for You quest? That's right, Asmodee did, the god of space herself. Well, her little portal showed up, but that suggests that she was at least watching the events unfold. Now, I do think it's possible that Istaroth is helping out a little bit here. In fact, I think the gods of space and time might be partners in crime.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all partners in crime, right? I would assume. Maybe not now, with Asmodee being gone, missing.
Full disclosure, I've been working on this theory for a full week, and there's at least 5 drafts at this point. And when I initially wrote down the idea that the Shade of Time and the Shade of Space were actually collaborating together, it seemed like a massive stretch. But I was ready to swing and hit a miss. And I was also about 3/4 of the way through editing this video when Hoya dropped this lore teaser about the Shades.
Of course.
Everything you did. Oh no. It changes.
Speculation doesn't feel quite so out there, because we can glean a lot from this teaser. Like the fact that Renova was the one who obliterated Conria, not Asmodee.
Yup.
And that Asmodee
fucking crazy lore drop, by the way.
is actually missing and has been missing since the start of the game. Istaroth even suggests that Asmodee may have switched sides, and that she may even love her new master more than herself.
Who is the new master?
Is talking about this, she both looks and sounds guilty, as if she's in the same boat as Asmodee. And my suspicions were only exacerbated when she bestowed history upon that old woman and made her recite lines about how each shade defies reason, which is extremely strange because reason is the power of the heavenly principles.
Yes.
So tell us how
I still find it crazy.
you really feel bad.
I don't know what the take on this is going to end up being, but the fact that you can see like quantum symbols.
I guess the only person that could defy reason is the heavenly principles themselves. And since they're shades of the heavenly principles, if they all work together, they could defy reason. Right, maybe.
In Naberius's design here, just
looks good.
Important to me, but I can't put
and
two
high
together
tech.
To come up with why.
Reason is the power of the heavenly principles.
She's so high tech.
Tell us how you really feel, babe. Also, space and time are nearly inseparable because
that is true.
They define each other. You can't have space without time, and you can't really have time without
space. That is true.
So I think it's very possible that these two, at least.
But it's also kind of like you can't have life without death and death without life, right? Like all of these kind of coincide with each other. That's why I think they're all kind of working together, because it's the 4 shades are there for a reason. It is the 4 shades of the primordial one. All 4 of them have to like exist for the others to also exist, I feel like. At least to the extent of the game's knowledge right now, like everything that we know. I feel like you kind of need all of the shades. You need life, death, space, and time to have this like this world dynamic in general.
At least are collaborating at some level.
Istaroth is just so bored. True, she does look like she wants to like go for KFC or something.
Either actively or because they just happen to share a similar desire, and their methods of
her eyes remind me of Robin for some reason.
Either actively or
because
they just happen to share a similar desire, and their methods of meddling work pretty well with each other. So what does that mean for the bootstrap paradox?
Singing.
Yep.
Well, it simply can't exist, because a paradox would go against the rules of the world. It would imply that the shades are going against the heavenly principles, and I think that even if the shades were dissatisfied with their boss, they probably aren't bold enough to defy them outright. Even Renova looks nervous at the prospect.
Renova does look very nervous. I don't know if they would defy the I don't know. I don't think they would defy him.
Or maybe they're planning to defy them, but they need Asmodee to help them out since all four of them are all the shades, and they need to work together to defy the Heavenly Principles. But if one of them's not there, they cannot do it. I don't know.
Principles, and I think that even if the
Don't think
Shades
too
were
much about my
dissatisfied with their boss, they
theories.
probably aren't bold enough to defy them outright.
I also don't think they are, but that doesn't mean one of them isn't, right? That doesn't mean Asmodee isn't helping somebody who would be bold enough, for example, which would be the Traveler.
Even Renova looks nervous at the prospect. I mean, the fact that a paradox would violate
Or
the rules
Lamine.
of that is the reason why Renova
Since
had to
Lamine wants to speak on the same level, so I don't know.
concede to the captain in the first place.
Yep.
He
By
was
the way, I mean that Abyss twin.
an undying being who was sentenced to die. She could not allow him to trigger a paradox of death. And
Exactly. This was one of the, honestly, out of all the Natlan shit, bro, this was one of the coolest parts of the whole thing for me. As much as it sucked that, like, Capitano basically just got fucking glued to the chair for eternity until he stands up again, just like in the fight at the 4.8 summer event, which your will.
Here at Switch Boss, we're 12 volt specialists. Order by 1 PM and our dispatch team will have that sent out same day.
Cap until it happens. Maybe in like
Joe,
10 years.
And I'm pretty
get
sure
Capitano.
this rule applies to
Oh
the
my
rest of
God.
the Shades as well. I don't
True.
have super solid evidence for it, but Nahida's fifth character story does come to a similar conclusion. It states that one cannot eradicate oneself because that creates a paradox. That's why Rukkhadevata could not eliminate herself. She had to pass off the responsibility to another version of herself. That was
Okay.
the cleanest way to avoid a paradox. So
Oh my
no
god, for a second I was like, wait, which one's Nahida? I was like, which one's Nahida, bro? I was confused. Fuck.
paradox
Nahida's the one that's not glowing, obviously. But
is allowed. Those are the rules, and even Istaroth has to obey them.
Fair
and
enough.
that means the third key needs to have a point of origin. So either Istaroth intervened directly and crystallized a memory into a copy of a key and left it there for the traveler to find, which is something I find a little bit unlikely given the circumstances.
Yeah, I also don't think that's necessarily. I don't want to believe that.
Or Asmodee is bending space to allow one key to exist in two places at once.
I think that's more like it.
Which
More likely.
is a bit more believable, but perhaps still a bit unlikely because I'm also not sure if that's a paradox. But there is a third option
I don't think that'd necessarily be a paradox, but what's the third option?
here. And it is the option that I prefer. See, I think that one of the keys either isn't real or just doesn't exist. But to understand why I say that, we need to turn the clock back a bit and talk about Sumeria.
okay.
Just
During
as
the
Sumeria.
Sulu Archon quest, the entire nation was
Oh, yeah,
trapped
we did
within
get into, like,
Nilu's
a
dream. Every night
Samsara.
time
Oh, fucking hell. Samsara lore in the big old 2025? Okay.
reset, so once morning came, no one remembered.
Look, Samsaras are still happening with Honkai Impact. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm experiencing one right now. Like I'm experiencing shit right now. Like, Samsara is still, like, a thing, so. And I feel like.
remembered the events of the previous day.
Yep.
Except for Nahida, who wasn't trapped inside the dream at all, but instead tapping into the dream from the outside. Now, I
And I guess the travelers started to sense something, right?
think the Samsara model is actually a microcosm of Tevat's cyclical time, but instead of being a single day's worth of time, it could be hundreds of years worth. It's not like anyone would ever know because their memories are being siphoned off and fed into the dream machine.
True.
The only reason the traveler became aware of what was going on was because Nahida never lost her memories. So she was able
Oh,
to basically
Nahida told us I
restore the
didn't
traveler's memory from a backup at the start of every loop. But just knowing you're inside of a dream, Samsara,
But I guess,
is not
I mean, he did start to suspect something before that, right? Like, when we're at, like, the stand, he was like, something feels off. He's like, I feel like I've been here before. I feel like before that, this is when he gained his full memories, but I feel like before this, he was starting to suspect something a little bit, I feel like. But maybe I'm misremembering.
traveler's memory from a backup at the start of every loop. But just knowing you're inside of a dream, Samsara, is not enough to break you out of it. You
That's true.
Oh, no,
I
she was
wanna
restoring our memories at the start of every loop. Oh, okay, that explains why.
talk so much about the Zhongli telling us to go and explore the Celestial
long ago.
Atlas and record everything and witness everything. We will be the one to save the new world, basically, to preserve it. Like, all of that shit, I feel like has so much to do with this, but it not yet. I'm going to keep waiting until she finishes this part because it might come up.
You need to find the host of the dream and wake them up so that the dream can finally end. In this case, the host was Nilu, and just before she ends the dream, she tells the traveler the story of Rukkhadevata's
Oh my god, and So you're saying when the Heavenly Principles wakes up, the dream. Huh. But so this could be meaning that the Heavenly Principles is the host, and we have to wake her up. So Tavat in itself is a dream, is a looping dream. Because oh,
first sage.
that would be
he
cool.
eventually
Yeah,
overcame
wait,
that
interesting.
calamity, found the Dendro Archon he had been looking for, and then he woke up. Because everything was just a dream. The first sage never actually went on a real journey, he just dreamed of one.
Yep.
Normally, I would pay something like this no mind, but technically speaking, the Traveler is the first sage of Nahida. So
Exactly.
what if this
Bro, we got more titles than a fucking autobiography.
I forget about that one.
index.
is just clever foreshadowing? What if the Traveler is currently sleepwalking their way through Tavat? I know that technically the Traveler was awakened by their sibling, but after Asmodee separated them, the Traveler was thrown into what felt like an endless nightmare, and they woke up in Tavat. But what if they didn't wake up? What if their real body is back in the hibernation chamber and Asmodee had just split the Traveler's mind from their body in order to smuggle them into Tavat? Honestly, that would explain why Irminsul
Jesus.
can't tamper with their memories. Nahida was tapping into the dream cycle from the outside, so the Akasha couldn't reset her memories. And if the Traveler is sleepwalking, then they're also tapping into the dream of Tavat from the outside, and that's why Irminsul can't
I mean, it makes
tamper with their
sense.
memories. And if this really was the case, then the Traveler probably
my
wouldn't even be aware of it. After all, the difference between them and Nahida is that Nahida was doing it on purpose. So without being aware
True.
that they're sleepwalking through a dream, they probably believe that they possess a real copy of their own key on their person, when in reality, that
Have we been
That
kidnapped?
key is in
I
the
call it
reality
recruiting.
where they are right
Who's that?
now.
Lower shelf prices now on hundreds of products. It's a fresh commitment to you from the fresh food people.
It's still back in the hibernation chamber in Cambria.
key is an illusion, the key that we never saw, while the key the Traveler found in the cave was their real key that Asmodee placed there for them to find.
Oh my
In
god.
this-
Okay, that's fucking too 5 head for me to even follow, bro. I'm not gonna count. That's a
True.
lot of
Like,
dream
actually.
shenanigans. Bro, I'll keep it a buck here, guys. I love theories. When it comes to the whole, oh, he was never here. He was just asleep the whole time. I hear that. I just don't.
It was all a dream.
I feel like it's so hard to do that in a way that doesn't just feel cheap. Hoyo could do it. I hope that's not the case.
scenario, there are only two real keys.
But they could do it so mind-boggling that you can't say it's bad because you can't even understand it. You can't say it's bad because you can't fully comprehend what's going on.
So Asmodee only needs to move the Traveler's key through space. So she takes it from the sleeping body and then puts it into Tavat where the sleepwalking Traveler can find it. And from there, the perceived paradox resolves itself, because if you keep the key, the twin gives their key to Deirdrith, which then eventually moves to New Conria. And if
Yeah.
you give Deirdrith the key, it also ends up in New Conria. Now the only difference between the two choices has absolutely nothing to do with time loops or paradoxes. It just boils down to whether or not the key stays in your inventory. A sleep
I guess that's true. It could be a thing. This part of the theory is throwing me off, though. I like the other parts. This part, it's not that it's not a good theory. It's just a theory that I wouldn't personally want to be 100% accurate, I think.
Sleepwalking Traveler could
makes sense,
honestly
makes sense.
explain a lot of
It
things
could.
in this game, like how Renova apparently can't see them when they're in Tavat. Perhaps the very nature of their current existence makes it difficult for gods at a higher level to see them, the same way only the Traveler could see Nahida in the Samsara. And it
I
could
feel like that'd be so weird, though, that even like random ass NPCs can see you, and then like the Harbingers and literally everybody
Yeah.
else. I don't know.
also explain why the Abyss Twin won't tell the Traveler anything of importance. Because according to Nahida, telling someone who's lost their memory things that they've forgotten before they're ready to hear it could literally blow their mind. Like, I'm not even kidding, it would cause serious brain damage. So that means the Traveler has to finish the journey and figure things out for themselves. Now, the Sumeru Samsara was powered by the Akasha.
I feel like we have to finish the journey and figure things out for ourselves, because we are a descendant. We can change fate. We can record things on the Celestial Atlas. And I feel like we're going to do for Tevat what Lumine is trying to do for Kamriar. I feel like Lumine's been through her journey, so she can create that Atlas, that data bank to revive Kamriar.
And that's why we're a witness of memories, so we can make the new oh my god. And that's why we are going to be that's why we're like the witness and like the holder of like all memories and stuff. It's because we're going to make a new Carnaria as a time atlas at the end, which needs memories, and we can use all of it, and then the Traveler can use all of their memories to make the new world. Oh my god. That's insane.
I feel like we are doing the exact same thing for Teyvat, so that eventually, when it inevitably gets absolutely fucked up in the end game, more than likely, we can then create new Teyvat. So then we have Lumine doing
Yeah,
one
with
side
our
of it, us doing the
memories.
other. I feel like that's going to be the case, but we'll see.
Akasha, which mimics Irminsul. So it's reasonable to assume that Irminsul is also like the
Renova
dream
had a
machine
fucking enough,
for
bro.
Teyvat.
She was like,
But
destroy the whole
Maybe that's what
planet.
Zhongli meant exactly when he's like, walk the celestial atlas, witness this world and everything it has to offer, basically. And then he said something like, you will. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was at the end of his Act 1 story quest, though, and it was basically saying like, you will be the savior of the new world or some shit.
Inside the shared dream lies a near endless chaotic space.
Yeah.
Countless bubbles of empty dreams belonging to the dreamers that are trapped inside the great dream bounce around freely. Each
Yeah.
dream is essentially its own domain, where things like time and space are dictated
Yeah, it's its own little bubble.
by the dreamer. I was thinking about this concept with regards to Asmodee, because the lore teaser confirms that each one of those cubes of hers is actually a chunk of space. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's a chunk of space-time, since the two are rather inseparable. Over time and under certain circumstances, those space-time cubes grow unstable, just like the empty dream bubbles in the Samsara. The repeating pattern here makes me think that the Abyss might work in a similar way, in that the true Abyss is nothing but an endless void space, but there
Yeah, dude, that's what I said earlier. I feel like the true
That
abyss
is-
is just going to be
listen.
the area beyond the firmament, and then the cubes that are there are the countless spaces it's like made up of.
are unstable pockets or bubbles of space that are floating around within this void space.
Yeah.
These unstable bubbles could possibly be claimed by talented individuals like Skirk, who can shape them however they like. Conversely, bubbles may simply mirror the aspects, wills, or desires of whoever enters them, and that would be very on brand for the Abyss given how much it loves mimicry. And maybe all this bubble stuff explains what domains are. In fact, I made a video about this.
The domains
back in
are
version
interesting.
1.5, and it has
Jesus.
aged
Oh, wow.
remarkably well.
Gee, yeah,
That's
oh yeah, that
fucking
is
insane,
long ago.
dude.
But
Bro,
I do
1.5.
wonder
Oh
if
wait,
the
I was thinking
proliferation of
1.5 from
Asmodee's
like
cube-
not that long ago. It's so far ago. Holy shit.
I made a video about this back in version 1.5, and it has
Jesus.
aged remarkably well.
That's
That's like
fucking insane,
almost-
dude.
But I do
It's like 4
wonder if
years
the
ago.
proliferation of Asmodee's cubes around Conria weren't an attempt at destruction, but preservation. Like, what if Asmodee was attempting to preserve what she could of Conria in isolated little blocks of space-time
But then why can't this? But Asmodee can also control the cubes, right? Like Asmodee and Renova can both control the same cubes. I guess that makes sense since space time. It makes sense that the space. I was gonna say the space Herrscher. That is not correct. I mean, who knows? But I mean, it makes sense that they both can control us, since I guess if they like the blocks us space time, but.
during the Asmodee was attempting to preserve what she could of Conria in isolated little blocks of space-time during the Cataclysm. That kind of fits with the dream bubble theory in reverse,
She's so
and it
cool.
also tracks with an old theory of mine, that she had the souls of the Conrians in those cubes. The idea still works, the scale is just bigger. But the point
That is true.
I'm trying to make is that Teyvat might just be one of Asmodee's cubes on a massive scale.
I think it literally is. I've actually had this theory for a long time. You'll remember me talking about this. I've said multiple times now, I feel like in the beginning of the game where we got cubed by Asmodee, that was literally her putting us into Teyvat. And then when she did the same fucking thing to
I remember
to
him talking about that at one
Lumine,
point, yeah.
it was the same gosh darn thing. We just get separated, bro. Just get separated.
In the same way that Nilu's big dream was full of other people's small dreams.
Yeah.
And as I already mentioned, it's very possible that Irminsul is their dream machine, and that this gold stuff that drips down into it are the memories of the heavenly principles.
Oh,
there might even
interesting.
be a bit of a feedback loop going on here, like there was with the Akasha. We already know that Irminsul collects the memories of everything in Teyvat, but perhaps at the end of a cycle, all of the memories that are within Irminsul are fed back into the heavenly principles, who serves as a host of the dream. Maybe they sift through and arrange those memories however they please. Maybe they do this over multiple cycles and iterate on the events that take place.
Never thought about that. That could be a very interesting point.
But let's
But
not
what? But the thing is, what is the heavenly principles end goal with the memories it would be collecting? What is its end goal? Is it to create a proper, stable world that isn't in a loop? And that would be like Teyvat 2.0, or like Genshin 2.0, Genshin Part 2, I guess you could say. Like, or is it trying to find, or is it going through multiple loops, kind of like with and we're actually going through the same thing with Honkai Star Rail. But like with Honkai Star Rail, where Fane is trying to find the perfect ending, is it like that where the Heavenly Principles is trying to find the one perfect ending so it can create a world from that perfect ending, so nothing bad actually happens? I fucking don't know. It's interesting because I feel like so many things can be tied into HSR with the 33 million cycles and with like Feinen and stuff. Because, and obviously with Honkai Empire, but I feel like Honkai Star Rail is like the closest thing with Amphorius, right?
Confuse these subspaces like the dream bubbles with real space.
For sure.
These dream
And
bubbles
then the MC, by spoilers for the latest HSR quest 3.3. Or 3.4. Fuck, you don't remember what patch we're up to. I keep forgetting. Is it 3? I think it's 3.4. But also the MC is the one to finish the last loop, and is going to be the one to like finish the loop and and complete it. That could be like the Traveler, where the next loop is the one where the Traveler completes it.
and abyss domains
There is a Cat with Blue Hat video that I want to watch about the HSI 3.4 story, which I will be watching eventually. Like, at least before. Probably after I do the Fate story.
Let's not confuse these subspaces like the dream bubbles with real space.
For sure.
These dream bubbles and abyss domains appear to be rather flexible in the way that they behave. Like they don't really obey the laws of physics well. And that suggests to me that they exist on an entirely different layer of reality altogether, like some esoteric cognitive realm type thing. But in real space, Tevat is a normal planet that's been cut off from the rest of the universe by the heavenly principles.
That's what they believe. I deadass don't think that is the case. I don't think it's a normal planet. It will be interesting to see during the actual end game what Tevat is, or what this planet is. Is it like people think? Because I think that the actual translated definition of Tevat is Ark, right? Could it be that the fucking
What other game loops? Fortnite. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh my god, bro. I mean, it could be like there's a central point that goes to different realities, kind of like the 0 point in Fortnite, right? It could be kind of something like that. Like there's this central hub that connects to every single reality, every single universe. Like the 0 point.
Heavenly Principles, or even Asmodee.
I feel like you could tie some things into Fortnite. That's insane. And yeah, because it also has this sphere that you can't get away from, but you also kind of can. But you also kind of can break through it.
Emerald trying to rescue Tevat.
Wow, comparing it to Fortnite, there is some similarities.
Trying to rescue Tevat. Did she send us down here to fix it? I mean, they showed this, but I'm saying, is it just a planet? Is it literally just a planet, or could it be an arc that the Shade of Space created to sustain it? The planet outside? Do you mean the one Scott was looking up at as a child that was burning? I think that was a home planet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this part? Yeah, bro. But this is what I'm saying. Like, yes, you can see the boundary. But my point is...
And that suggests to me that they exist on an entirely different layer of reality altogether, like some esoteric cognitive realm type thing. But in real space, Tevat is a normal planet that's been...
Yes. In real space, Tevat is a normal planet, but my point is it really a normal planet? Like, is it? Because from the outside, you can't really see it, right? We kind of know that now. You can't really see Tevat from the outside. It's obfuscated by the rest of the universe. It's kind of like if Harry Potter puts his fucking invisibility cloak on. You can't see him. It's like
the same kind of like a black hole. You can't see it
as a planet. So you
can't see a black hole. You can only see the event horizon. It's kind of like Tevat, right? You can only see the event. You can only see the shining of it.
Planet, or is it a protected bubble universe? Is it a protected, yes, it's a planet, or Tevat is on this planet? I'm not denying that it is that, but is that all it is? I don't think that's all Tevat is. I think it might be an arc. I think it might be something that the Heavenly Principles are there to protect. Alice is obviously protecting the borders for some reason or another, but I do think they're there to protect. Alice is obviously protecting the borders for some reason or another, but I do think when Asmodee cubed us and threw us down, I don't necessarily think she did it for bad reasons. I don't think she had evil intentions when doing that. I think she actually had positive intentions and thinks that we will do good things. But that's a big reach. We after the latest teaser, it's looking more likely, but we'll see.
I love my football and I love
Oh,
a good
it's
time.
just-
So I've teamed up with Dabble
It's
to
so.
start my
I just
very
can't
own
wait to
tailgate
get to
business.
the end game eventually, man.
It's very hard to tell.
Cut off from the rest of the
Very hard
universe
to
by the
tell.
heavenly principles. The fact the interior
I cannot
behaves like a
wait.
dream world is neither here nor there. But
So-
that said, there must be a reason for this isolationist move, and the only logical conjecture I can think of is that Tevat was at risk of being destroyed at one point. So bubbling Tevat and trapping it in a
Look
sort of
at that
Tevat was
Hilly
at
Joe.
risk of being destroyed at one point. So
Yo, doom.
bubbling Tevat and trapping it in a sort of dream loop seems pretty plausible. And if
Yeah.
that threat was Abyss related, which it likely was given the timing of recent lore drops, then perhaps the Heavenly Principles was trying to expunge all Abyss related energy out of Tevat, thereby reducing the threat risk. But after the Cataclysm, they fell silent. So if they were trying to
True.
do dream maintenance at one point, they're still in there doing dream maintenance. Meanwhile, the Shades are just standing by awaiting orders. Well, except for Asmodee. Now I admit,
Yeah, she's off doing her own thing, bro.
I wasn't quite sure what Asmodee's motivations could have
Or maybe
been
it's like
for
she's
defying
allowed.
The Heavenly Principles.
The Heavenly Principles
But
allowed
then
her to
I
do what
realized
she
the
wants.
four shades of the Heavenly
Since she is the sustainer of the Heavenly Principles, so maybe she's like the only one that can actually do whatever the fuck she wants, you know?
could have been for defying the Heavenly Principles. But then I realized that the four shades of the Heavenly Principles are basically the equivalent of God's archangels, and
Yes.
angels were created without the capacity for free will.
Oh my god, she's Lucifer.
Know how we talked about free will versus fate earlier? Well, fate is like sure what Asmodee's motivations could have been for defying the Heavenly Principles. But then I realized that the four shades of the Heavenly Principles are basically the equivalent of God's archangels, and
Yes.
angels were created without the capacity for free will.
Oh my god, she's Lucifer.
Know how we talked about
Okay.
free will versus fate earlier?
Okay.
Well, fate is kind of like signing a contract. You have no choice but
Oh god.
to obey its terms, and in Genshin, sharing a name means you share a fate. This ties names directly to fate, which is convenient because demons can be controlled using their true name. And the relationship between the Shades and the Heavenly Principles does reek of contractual obligation. So
does.
perhaps it's not that they don't want to defy them, or that they have no reason to.
What is with this blocky quality? I'm so curious. Bro, you can actually make this. That'd be so cool. You actually make this in Minecraft.
So
does.
perhaps it's not that they don't want to defy them, or that they have no reason to, but more so that they can't defy
yeah.
them. And maybe that's why Istaroth's fragment, Venti, cherishes the ideal of freedom so much. Perhaps Istaroth wishes for her own freedom as well. As for Asmodee,
I can
Interesting.
today,
And that's why
I
she's so
think
like
she had a chance
kind of
encounter that gave her a
depressed.
taste of free will, and that's why she went missing.
Oh, that could be very interesting. Who the hell would she have had a chance encounter with, though?
Yeah, I'm so curious who a new master is. I'm just so interested. Who could it be, man?
Piero's the one that can gaze past the heaven. That makes me curious.
Okay, so the power of the Heavenly Principles is the
Wait, but each should follow its own. Wait, please tell me you're going to explain that, right? With the free will thing.
power of reason, logos, and language, because biblically speaking, language is the power of creation. Conveniently, both twins seem to possess the power of reason in spades. Now, the Nartsyncroid's quest revealed that the power of reason could be represented by anything, but ideally it comes in the form of a sword, the Sword of Reason. Also
the sword of light.
conveniently, both twins started the game wielding unique golden swords.
Yup.
You might have noticed, though, the Abyss twin still has their sword, but the
Yeah, good fucking point. I actually forgot.
Yeah, oh,
about
yeah,
this
yeah,
from,
yeah, yeah.
the
Strict carry bit.
previous Dane quest.
Traveler doesn't.
When Dane put
No,
the,
not-
I had the first field tiller up his domain expansion.
So have you ever
No, that
heard
was a
of where it
Kariba.
went?
What's that? No, that was a Kariba. No, yeah, that was Kariba because we did get one for Fontaine, right? We didn't get one for Fontaine. Oh no, we did. Oh my god. Holy shit! No, I'm going crazy. No, we did. Oh my god! No, this wasn't. No, I forgot. No, it wasn't in Fontaine. Fuck. No, sorry, it wasn't in Fontaine. It was still in like Sumeru. So yeah. Okay, it was still in
I
Sumeru.
had the first field tiller up his domain expansion.
So have you ever wondered where it went? Yeah, Asmodee has it. She has the Traveler's power of reason. I'm not even joking, too.
Oh.
Watch this opening cutscene very closely. Notice how the sword is there in 1 second and gone the next?
Oh, she stole her. Oh my god! She stole his sword. She just yoinked it.
Damn, I never saw that. That is true. Wait, but isn't Lumines also getting eaten here?
Because she
Yoink.
took it. Now, you also might have noticed that all the gods in the game bear the
She fucking put that in a different space and time for not us.
names of demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon. And Solomon was only able to command those demons thanks to his special ring and knowledge of the demons'
Wait, sorry. I really want to quickly look at Was it 4.7? Oh! Yeah, with the Loom of Fate. Yeah, okay, alright. Yeah, okay. I was trying so hard to remember it, I couldn't remember it. Alright, yeah, it was with the Loom of Fate. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the bedtime story quest. And it still had bits of Currybet in it. And that's the bedtime story quest. It still had bits of Currybet in it. Because we got to see what Currybet could have looked like, right? Yeah, alright. Yeah, we got to see what Currybet kind of looked like.
Solomon was only able to command those demons thanks to his special ring and knowledge of the demons' names. If we associate the heavenly principles with Solomon due to their absolute control over demon gods, then the ring, in this case, is the power of reason. Which means the ring doesn't have to be a ring, it can be a sword. So Asmodee has the traveler's power of reason, or at least a manifestation of it.
Oh yeah, Lumine kept hold of her sword.
Due to their similar perceived
Holy shit, dude, that is such a good pickup.
Yeah,
nature, I like to think of the twins
yeah, that's
and
insane.
the heavenly principles as being a similar type of being. So if the heavenly principles is Solomon, then the twins are also Solomons. So what we have here is Asmodee taking Solomon's ring of reason, or sword of reason in this case,
Yep.
which is actually a story that happens in the Quran. Asmodeus gets their hands on Solomon's ring, but they later toss the ring into the sea where Solomon fishes it up and
Wait, no, but what
frees
what
it,
does
so
he attack
Solomon's
with here?
type of being. So if the heavenly principles is Solomon, then the twins
Oh, what the heck?
are
What does he attack with? What? Is it his? Oh, it's his fist. Is it his fist? Yeah, I think it's his fist. Yeah.
Solomon's. So what
Looks
we
like his
have
fist.
here is Asmodee
Dang, that's a
taking
strong
Solomon's
punch.
ring of reason, or sword of reason in this case.
Something similar.
Yeah.
Which is actually a story that happens in the Quran. Asmodeus gets their hands on Solomon's ring, but they later toss the ring into the sea where Solomon fishes it up and then pulls it out of the fish he caught. Now, I think the traveler fished something up from the sea. What was it again? Oh, right.
What's
Paimon.
this annoying fucking yap fest?
It was Paimon. We need to make a very important assumption before we continue.
Okay.
Venti is a fragment of the Thousand Winds, and
We're
the
gonna say Paimon's a fragment of Asmodee.
Thousand Winds is another name for Istroth. Ergo, Venti is a fragment of Istroth. They are not the same demon, but they're related, which is why they have different demon names.
Yeah.
In the same vein, I would like to pitch the idea that Paimon is a fragment of Asmodee.
Yeah.
A fragment that
I'm just saying. Estroth being voiced by Venti's VA shows that Venti's got to be voiced whenever he comes into the story next. Great. Great. That's a good sign for that, I
I'd like
guess.
to
That's a
pitch
good sign
the
she's
idea that
returned.
Paimon is a fragment of Asmodee.
Yeah.
A fragment that also contains the traveler's reason.
I mean, it makes sense. She's like eyes, like of like space. It looks like space, and her cape is like space, is right. So it makes sense as well. It makes sense.
She's also
And
the
she has
fish
Celestia
that Solomon
design.
caught. Now, as the traveler journeys around Teyvat, they're recovering their powers, right? Well, the traveler studies every
Paimon could be our sword. I feel like we're kind of Paimon's sword, right?
new power with
True.
Paimon's help. It's very similar to how Solomon recovered his ring from the fish he caught. But wait, there's more!
Okay.
There's an Islamic tale called The Nights where Asmodeus teaches a young prince about the 7 layers of hell. Paimon
Ooh.
guides the traveler through the 7 nations of Teyvat, and the traveler has been called a prince or princess either by the Abyss Order or Lilupar.
Yeah, I still think like the traveler's obviously. I mean, sorry, Paimon's obviously guiding us. After the Saurian quest line, bro, in Natlan, it really does make me think like little guy was guiding us, not the other way around, because we needed to help him do something right at the very end of that quest. I think it could be
So Paimon's
that,
not trying to help
but in
us.
the real world with Paimon and the Traveler. I feel like we are guiding Paimon. We are the ones protecting
Oh,
Paimon. We are taking her to where she needs
Oh,
to be.
okay.
That's what I feel like.
Is that a coincidence? And you know how Istroth suggested Asmodee loves her new master more than she loves herself? Well, Paimon is the demon most loyal to Lucifer, and the twins are representatives of the stars of daybreak, which
Fair.
is technically just Venus, and also the star most closely associated with Lucifer. Ergo, Paimon is the demon most loyal to the twins.
Jesus.
My point is that I think the Traveler is Asmodee's new master, and they just don't know it yet.
Yep.
But that's also probably why Asmodee was spying on them in the Space and Time for You quest. Also, I lied.
There is. Okay, gonna let it keep playing.
That wasn't my point. My real point is that because the Traveler is Asmodee's new master, that she loves very, very much, she wants to help the Traveler accomplish their goals. And what might those goals be, you ask? Why, changing the fate of the world, of course. I really
Of
hope I haven't
course.
lost you yet, because we're about to come full circle. The Subseru Samsara dream
All the
A master she can defeat instantly. By the way.
Of course. I really
Of
hope I haven't
course.
lost you yet, because we're about to come full circle. The Subseru Samsara
All the
dreamscape
worlds are still-
required a
God,
dreamer
not
to host a
again.
collective dream. That dreamer was Nilu. Nilu is a performer, and she performs primarily on a stage. So for that reason, and a few others that we're going to get to in a minute, I want to look at Tevat as if it were a theatrical performance in a dream.
Do you think Genshin made
Yeah, what's
this
that even
because
mean?
of damage
I was
control?
reading that.
What?
That was even mean.
ChatGPT gets
What?
123 million visits
Like,
a
what
day,
does that
and
even
most
mean?
people still use it
Like,
like
if
a
they
toy.
just
Here's
stayed
how-
with Honkai Impact, they still would have been fine. Like, um, what? Like, Genshin was the biggest risk they ever took. No, Honkai Impact was, I'm pretty sure. No, no, Honkai Impact was the biggest risk they took. But I think Genshin was the second biggest, right? Genshin was the second biggest.
Wait,
What?
made what because of damage control? Wait,
Yeah.
damage control for what?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean, but no, I don't.
Dreamscape. So keep this in mind as I continue talking. So in
Okay.
Greek mythology, the land of dreams borders the Asphodel Meadows, which just so happens to be one of the realms of the dead. I would like to propose that in Genshin, the Asphodel Meadows are represented by the Sea of Flowers at the end. The only real difference between them is that instead of asphodels, we have intivats. Intivats are the national flower of Conria, so the Sea of Flowers at the end should be in or near Conria.
True.
And that makes Conria a realm of the dead, and also bordering the land of dreams, which is Tevat. That also checks out with what we know from Per and Harry, because if you remember, in order to get into Conria, you had to declare that you were dead. But here's the catch. The Traveler has been searching for these Intivat flowers for a long time
Yeah,
prior
you're not wrong. I really thought they were in the end of this teaser that we saw as well with Columbina, but they're not. They don't have the blue petal.
to reaching Tevat, claiming they were from their homeland. Now, it is impossible to say for sure if Intivats could really be found on their original planet, but it's definitely possible that the Traveler was simply dreaming of a new home that had Intivats on it. Like a prophetic vision or something.
Okay.
Because see, I
Like a new Tevat.
kind of get the feeling that Conria is something like a home for the twins. It's already a second home for the
True.
Abyss twins, so it's really only a matter of time for the Traveler. And if that is the case, then surely the Traveler would want to save Conria from a terrible fate, right?
Of
and
course.
if that's the case, then I assume that Asmodee wants to make that wish come true. But it's not easy to bring back that which has been lost. And Conria's long since been destroyed. And even if it could be brought back, the Heavenly Principles would probably attempt to strike it down again.
Yeah.
So it seems we're faced
Yeah,
with a bit of
Asmodee
an
might
unsolvable
protect it.
problem.
A
And how
paradox.
do we solve an unsolvable problem? Well, sometimes when a writer is faced with an unsolvable problem in their work, they can invoke the power of Deus Ex Machina in order to resolve it.
Oh my God, the
name literally
hexacircle.
means God from the machine, and it refers to a plot device that swoops in to flawlessly
Lord of the Night.
solve any unsolvable problem. Readers like to call this trick a cop-out, and that's probably because it is one. Now, the term originated in ancient Grecian theater, where it described actors playing gods that were supposed to swoop in and resolve the broken plot lines of the play. These gods either descended from above via a crane or ascended from below via a riser, hence gods from a machine. And
Okay.
in the case of the twins, we have one who is considered a descender, the Traveler, and then the twin who isn't a descender because they ascended from below to Vat, because that's where Conria is.
Then how'd she get
Is
there?
that why she's not a I don't think that's why she's a descender, right?
But then how'd she get there?
I think it's just because she didn't have the will to rival the fate of the world. I don't know if it's because she ascended.
Yeah.
One who is considered a descender, the Traveler, and then the twin who isn't a descender because they ascended
know.
from below to Vat.
They
'cause
both got
that's
there the
where
same way,
Conria
so I don't
is.
know.
This is literally a double Deus Ex Machina
Like, see, they're both
situation.
descended down.
I don't think that's why the other twin is not considered as a descender, though.
We're thinking of Tevat as a theatrical production, right? That means
Sure.
Tevat proper is metaphorically the stage. And since Conria is below Tevat, Conria should be beneath the stage. You know, like in the trap room. Not only does this mimic the Deus Ex Machina structure, but it perfectly references another theatrical production, The Ring Cycle, an opera that pulls from Germanic myths. It's the same one that Nibelung gets his name from. So not
Okay.
only is this source of inspiration a theatrical production, but its world building lines up really, really well with what's going on here. Let me show you what I mean. So, Tevat is considered a tree-like world due to Irminsul's influence, and Irminsul is a reference to the Nordic world tree. At the
Yeah.
top of this tree should be a bird called Vedrfolnir, and while he might not be a bird for real,
Why is there something I feel like also had a tree in it that I did recently? Something to do with like, oh my god, no. Fuck, I was thinking of Eversalt. That is no way. That's like, that's a completely different trait. Fuck. I don't know why I was thinking, I was like, I've heard of a tree in a game recently. It was Eversalt. Fuck's
This
sake.
tree should be a bird
Nia.
called Vetterfilnir. And while he might not be a bird for real, the Sinner Vetterfilnir waits at the end of time. So I feel like the top of the tree is a perfect location for him.
Yeah, a fucking bird's nest.
Because the top of the tree should be where reality ends, and that would also be where time ends. And then we have the Norse myth of the serpentine dragon Nidhogger.
Bro, maybe that's where the shades are. They're just above Irminsul in some weird fucking space and time.
Who's coiled around the tree's roots deep underground. While we have no mention of a real dragon in Conria, many soldiers have mastered the 7 shifting serpent technique, which allows them to mimic elemental energy using only abyssal power.
Yeah, which is very cool. A cool way to basically make it so they don't have to add more elements and they can just use abyssal power and mask it as something else. Like when Dainsleif inevitably releases and he's just fucking pyro.
So that kind of places serpents below the stage. So
Oh,
below
no,
the tree.
no.
So we've got a prophetic bird at the top of the tree and some serpents at the bottom of the tree. And between them, there should be a messenger squirrel named Ratatosker who runs up and down the length of the tree. That's why his name literally means traveler. During the inversion of Genesis, Nicole says something rather odd when talking about the impossibilities of changing fate. She says,
When a small animal runs into a tree trunk, though the tree may sway,
Oh.
it is not displaced. The same is true of fate.
If an animal runs into fate, that fate might sway, but it's not displaced. It will always, basically, no matter what you do, fate will always happen.
so a small animal running into a tree trunk, huh? A small animal like a squirrel, like Ratatosker, the traveler, the one who keeps getting accused of always wanting to change fate. And she says this animal runs into the tree trunk, but perhaps she doesn't mean this super literally. But seeing how Teyvat is a tree-like world because of Irminsul, then is it not possible that the traveler actually landed somewhere in Conria initially, but was placed
Yeah.
into Teyvat by the sustainer of heavenly principles? The way I mentioned earlier, where she kind of split the mind from the body and put the mind in the tree and left the body in the hibernation chamber.
Like,
Just
you
the
just
fact
let the
that as
bodies hit the floor, man.
they would put the traveler into Teyvat feels very suspicious to me. And I'm starting to think that she grew fond of the twins over time, and also fond of Conria, you know, by association. As for why Conrians moved below the stage, well, Dainsleif says some say a few are chosen and the rest are dregs. And it's pretty
Yep.
obvious in this case that the vision holders are the chosen while the dregs are Conrians. And now
Yes.
that we know that Conrians are likely people who are similar to Skirk's people, i.e. they are Abyss compatible, it makes sense that they'd be targeted and removed from the system since Teyvat has been facing Abyss-related threats for thousands of years and the Heavenly Principle seems to be trying to mitigate that risk.
That's true.
So I'm picturing Teyvat as a sort of cosmic centrifuge, with all of the abyssal matter being flung out the sides as a form of purification. The timing of all of this checks out.
Sorry, go over that again.
So I'm picturing Teyvat as a sort of
centrifuge?
cosmic centrifuge, with all of the abyssal matter being flung.
Hold up. Oh, what they put like, well, I see they put like the fluids and like the things in. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I have seen those in like some things before. Yeah, like spins it around. Yeah, spins it around to separate the fluids. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Flung out the sides as a
They have
form
it in like those little tubes. Yeah.
of purification.
So the nails from Celestia were there to suppress the abyssal matter. Bro, my fucking brain turns off whenever we start talking about dreamy bullshit. Like, the traveler is asleep, and reality is he's astral projecting into Teyvat, and he's not actually here. He's just sleepwalking. Oh,
The timing of all of this checks out too, because the first abyssal invasion was during the Great War of Vengeance, and it happened around the same time Conria should have been founded. Which means that Conrians are basically being cast out of the Great Samsara theater dream. So instead of experiencing the cyclical time of the performance, Conrians live
that's
in
lightning.
exile. And maybe
Yes.
that's why they resent the gods so much that they wanted to wage
Bro.
war against against them.
I'd resent the fucking gods at that point.
But now it
True.
seems that most Conrians just want their home back. And at
Yeah.
least one of the twins wants Conria back too. And that means finding a way to give Conria its own act in the play. As of right now,
And we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
It was already teased
Yeah.
back in the Teyvat chapter storyline preview.
the script for Conria has been written on the Loom of Fate,
Yup.
a small dream space hosted by Kari Bear. But
You just wait, gamers. You just wait until it comes that we are going to have another one of these, but it's gold and it's about Teyvat, and we are the ones that are going to restore old Teyvat into new Teyvat eventually, and that was the contract to end all contracts from Zhongli and the Sarita, calling it right the fuck now.
because a new location has yet to be found,
That will- oh my
Conria
God, I'm
still
so
lacks
interested.
a proper act number in the Travail tree.
And it's like the opposite. It's not black with white text. It's white with black text. It's like the opposite colors than the other ones, right?
That requires overturning
That shows like rebellion against Teyvat, right? Since like the opposite.
replacing the heavenly principles so that the Conrians can finally rewrite the fate of the world and stop being a dream yet to be dreamed. But no matter what, a location will be found. Conria will receive their act number in the play, and when they do, it'll be both the first and the last act. Because
Yep.
where a journey ends is also where the journey begins. And
Exactly.
if
Cyclical.
you start your journey by leaving home, you'll end your journey by going back home. In the case of the twins, their journey began in Conria,
I was gonna say something kind of morbid. I'll
going
believe
back
that.
home. In the case of the twins, their
Oh,
journey
David.
began in Conria, so that's where the journey will end, with both of them standing in a sea of Intevats, which is really the perfect ending, because I can't think of a better way to end a successful theatrical production
Without Paimon, by the way, so it really
You're
is a
true.
perfect ending.
than covering a stage with flowers. You know, this
Damn.
theater thing is probably the reason why the Fatui are based on the Commedia dell'arte. They were founded
True.
by Conrians, so it feels like they're kind of mocking the theatrical nature of Teyvat by embodying iconic theatrical archetypes and, you know, doing crime. Feels appropriate. Also, there was nowhere to really fit this, but I think that Istaroth might be the reason why Paimon has a spotty memory of her own past. Paimon's
Oh, interesting. That is something I haven't really thought about too
Oh,
much
yeah, I
in
guess
terms of
she-
Paimon's memory. I do feel like a lot of her memory is being obfuscated, but I also feel like she's holding stuff back from us on purpose. Even if we remember the Chasm quest, bro, when Ito fucking tried headbutting the door and it didn't open or whatever the fuck happened, or punching it, there was some sussy shit there with Paimon when we asked her about her past as well, right?
crown looks quite a bit like Istaroth's halo, so
True.
maybe
Oh, yeah, we
that's
haven't,
what
like,
it is,
tried to
a
ask her so
marker
many
that
times.
Paimon's time or history
Yeah.
has been sealed away.
Maybe.
If that's the case, then this little spiky bit on the front is actually the hand of a clock, and I think that's a pretty cute idea. Anywho, after like, I don't know,
Cute
6,
idea.
7 drafts of this script, one of which was done in a single night thanks to Hoyo dropping this stupid lore bomb of a video, I
Yeah.
think I'm finally done.
Yeah,
It's a
fuck
fantastic
Hoyoverse.
video, though.
Perfect, but perfect is the enemy of the good, so here we are. I think the ideas
Yeah.
got across, so I think we're
GG,
good.
man. GG. Good video. Good video. Here we go,
It
guys.
was so
Make sure you
interesting,
go check
bro.
it out. If you're not already subscribed to Ashikai, I fucking don't know why, bro.
I haven't
You should
subscribed
be.
for a while,
Ashikai's a
actually.
phenomenal
I just haven't
content
watched it in a
creator.
while.
Very, very good.
All right, so that is that. That's the. My God, it's Ken, bro. All right, so that is that. Yeah, I think. Oh man, the time shit. Like, obviously, like my title for the 5.7 quest was "Time This Shit Confuses Me." It still does. Oh, it's so interesting. Oh, there's Hashikai's video. I actually got to watch this one as well. But I hope everybody enjoyed. Let me know what you think could happen. It's so interesting. I'm so excited to see how the story's going to unfold. I'm very curious what 5.8 is going to offer because we're getting our first Nod Cry character, and I'm guessing Anef is going to have a story. So we're probably going to learn about Nod Cry in 5.8 as well. And also, the Shade said they're going to intervene. Is that intervene with like stuff that's going to happen? Nod Cry. That'd be interesting. We get to meet the Shades and like. Well, I technically have already met one of the Shades, but you know what I mean. We get to meet the rest of the Shades and not cry, which I think that'd be cool. But yeah, if everyone enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I guess we'll see you in the next one. Peace.